I mean, we may do papers on it, Marco. Maybe we're going to do papers. I don't even know if you need them. They're not going to be fighting each other. They've had it. They've had a big fight, like two kids in a schoolyard. You know, they fight like hell. You can't stop them. Let them fight for about 2-3 minutes. Then it's easy to stop them.
And then Daddy has to sometimes use strong language to
You have to use strong language. Every once in a while, you have to use a certain word.
I think we have to join the House.
Mark Rutte, the NATO chief, who is your friend, he called you daddy earlier. Do you regard your NATO allies as kind of children?
No, he likes me. I think he likes me. If he doesn't, I'll let you know. I'll come back and I'll hit him hard, okay? No? He did it very affectionate. Daddy, you're my daddy.
This is my video update on this Wednesday midday, June the 25th, coming to you from Athens, Greece. Let's talk about some news. And let's start things off with the NATO summit in the Netherlands. And word on the street is that US President Trump has agreed to a meeting with Abraham Lincoln #2, also known as Churchill #2, also known as the Green Goblin, Zelensky. That is right. Politico is reporting that Trump agrees to in-person Wednesday meeting with Zelensky. The two leaders last met in person in April. So are we now moving back to Project Ukraine? Are we done with Iran and Israel, the 12-day war? Is that over? And are we shifting back to Project Ukraine? I don't think so. I don't think that's what the neocons want. But it's definitely what the Europeans want. And it's definitely what Zelensky wants. He wants the attention back on Project Ukraine. Hey, Podolyak, way to back. Oh, man. So Wednesday, after Trump is done meeting with Zelensky and speaking with Zelensky, expect some very mean posts aimed at Russian President Putin, right? Because we know that Trump makes decisions or posts on Truth Social depending on the last person that he spoke with. So Wednesday, expect some vitriol aimed at Russia and Putin after he's done speaking with Zelensky, and who knows what other European leaders, most likely Macron, they'll try to sit in on the meeting. Politico says Zelensky clings to NATO hopes as Trump meeting looms. Hope for Zelensky that he can enter NATO, huh? That is what Politico is reporting. Zelensky says that Kiev should join, that Ukraine should join NATO. He said the alliance would benefit from Kiev's joining. It would benefit from Kiev's joining, for which Viktor Orban posted on X, President, this is directed at Zelensky, he says, President, with all due respect, the European Union was founded to bring peace and prosperity to its member states. Accepting a country that is at war with Russia would immediately drag the EU into a direct conflict. It is unfair to expect any member state to take this risk. So, from what I understand, we're getting conflicting reports actually, but last I read, and this is from Politico, they are now saying that Zelensky is only invited to the NATO dinner, and he's not going to be able to sit in on any of the events. A couple of days ago, I reported that Ursula had, and Rutte and Ursula, they got together and they decided that Zelensky should not only attend the dinner, but he should sit in on events. So I'm not sure exactly what Zelensky's role is going to be during this summit, but we'll see. We will find out today and tomorrow why he's even at this NATO summit, because he's not a part of NATO. who knows? Who cares? He's invited. He's there. He showed up. He showed up. If it's just to the dinner, it'll just be to the dinner. If it's at certain events, it'll be at certain events. He does look like he has booked a meeting with U.S. President Trump and Lavrov. He was speaking at a forum in, I believe, in Moscow, and he talked about the European Union and NATO. And Lavrov said what we have been saying for a while now on the Duran, that the European Union is an extension of NATO. It is not different from NATO whatsoever, and that the European Union, Lavrov said, started out as an economic union, but it has now become an appendage of NATO. Alexander correctly noted that the European Union is no longer an economic union, but it's a globalist project. Ursula even says it's Project Europe, right? She even says Project European Union. She uses those words. So Lavrov, that is what he said about the European Union, EU becoming an extension of NATO. This was during a speech at an international forum in Moscow. Lavrov recalled that the EU was initially formed as an economic union that was meant to make life better for its residents in a socio-economic sense. The bloc has undergone a radical transformation, he claimed, becoming an aggressive military political bloc that is essentially a branch, or rather an appendage, of NATO. Did you guys see the Trump Truth Social post? I believe he posted this yesterday. He posted a screenshot of a message that he received from NATO CEO Mark Rutte, who was cheering Trump on for the way he bombed Iran, the way he handled the whole Iran-Israel conflict. And after bombing Iran, Mark Rutte, oh, that was such a beautiful bird. Oh, those birds are so fast. Mark Rutte sent a message to Trump, and Trump posted a screenshot of the message on Truth Social. And man, is Rutte, man. Everyone watching in the Netherlands, how did you guys survive with Rutte as prime minister? How did you guys make it? Man, that guy. He's congratulating Trump, and he is sucking up to Trump so hard. It's sad. It is sad and pathetic. He's even writing in this message. He even uses Trump lingo in this message. Let me read it to you. Let me read you what Rutte said. And Trump posted this on his Truth Social. Rutte said, "Mr. President, dear Donald, congratulations and thank you for your decisive action in Iran. That was truly extraordinary and something no one else dared to do. It makes us all safer. You are flying into another big success in The Hague this evening. It was not easy, but we've got them all signed on to 5%. Donald, you have driven us to a really, really important moment for America and Europe and the world. You will achieve something no, in caps, American president in decades could get done. Europe is going to pay in a big way, and big is in all caps, as they should, and it will be your win. Safe travels, and see you at His Majesty's dinner. Mark Rutte." Europe is going to pay in a big way. Oh my God. That's sad, man. He is the CEO of NATO, and the United States is his number one client. That's where 70 or 80% of NATO's revenue comes from. So I guess as CEO of NATO, you've got to kiss the United States' butt. But man, Rutte, tone it down a bit. Oh boy. So we have a new villain for NATO. There is a new villain. It's not Russia. It's not China. kind of Africa, actually. Rutte did say that there's now another front that NATO has to fight for in competition with China and Russia, and that is Africa. So Africa's another front. It's not a villain. It's another front that NATO is now going to fight for. But the villain, it's not Iran either. The new villain is Spain. Yeah, Spain, España. There you go. That's NATO's new villain, according to Politico. Madrid's efforts to wriggle out of the alliance's new spending targets is angering other members. So Politico is reporting that Spain and Slovakia, Sanchez and Fico, that as they're present at this NATO meeting, everyone is very upset with them because Spain and Slovakia, they're basically, something fell from that tree and hit me in the head. Anyway, they're basically saying that, or they're trying to get out of the, I believe, the 2% target. We're not talking about the 5%. The 5% is a myth. Don't believe anything that Rutte is saying with that 5%. That's not going to happen anytime soon. I don't believe it's going to happen anytime soon. But the 2% NATO spending goal, Spain and Slovakia are saying, you know, we can't do it. Or at least we can't do it in the near term. And Slovakia is saying that they have other issues that they need to spend their money on, issues that are of interest to the people of Slovakia. And that's what Fico pretty much said. And Sanchez pretty much said that, you know, we'll get to the 2% because everyone's upset with Sanchez now. He's the new villain. But in order to get to the 2%, we're going to have to cut social spending in Spain, healthcare and social services and pensions and stuff like that. And we're going to have to allocate that to the military, to NATO. That's not going to go down well in Spain. But that's what Sanchez said. So as Trump was traveling to the Netherlands, he was on Air Force One, and he was asked by a reporter about what's going on with Israel and Iran and the ceasefire. And the reporter asked Trump about Putin and what help did Putin offer you? And Trump answered the reporter by saying, I told him I need help with you. He said, I don't need help with Iran and Israel, though he needed help with Iran and Israel, and he did get help from Putin. But anyway, Trump claims that he told Putin, I don't need help, but what I need with Iran and Israel, but what I need help is help from you, in reference to Project Ukraine. I need help with you, so that we can get to some sort of deal with Project Ukraine.
You know, I'd like to see a deal with Russia. As you know, Vladimir called me up. He said, can I help you with Iran? I said, no, I don't need help with Iran. I need help with you. And I hope we're going to be getting...
So the reporters, the media, the collective West mainstream media, the neocons, the Iran-focused, let's say the Iran-focused neocons and globalists who are absolutely obsessed with regime change in Iran, and they've never been closer. In their minds, they've never been closer to regime change. In Iran, they are not going to allow a shift back to Project Ukraine, a conflict that for the collective West, for NATO, and for the United States is lost. And they want Trump to stay focused on Project Iran. Let's call it Project Iran. And the New York Times, they put out an article. I think this is from the New York Times. Yeah, they put out an article with the title, Intel Report on Iran Upends Victory Lap Trump Was Hoping for at NATO. President Trump has been eager to celebrate the U.S. strikes on Iran, but a new report indicates the attack set back Iran's nuclear program by only a few months. And CNN, they are running reports which claim that they had access to some sort of leaked intel, where they also claim that the intel assessment, or at least the early intel assessment, shows that the nuclear facilities, especially the Fordo nuclear facility, was not obliterated as Trump claimed. From CNN, exclusive early U.S. intel assessment suggests strikes on Iran did not destroy nuclear sites, sources say. So this is upsetting Trump. The fact that the ceasefire was broken for a couple of hours. Once the ceasefire went into effect, the ceasefire was broken, I believe, by Iran, but also definitely by Israel. Both sides, I think, had broken the ceasefire, which is normal. It's actually normal for that to happen when you put a ceasefire in place. It does get broken in the first couple of hours or in the first day or two. But Trump is feeling the stress, man. You can see it's getting to him. This Iran-Israel thing really got to him. It got to him because he messed it up. I think deep down inside, I hope that deep down inside he understands that this was a catastrophic decision to listen to the likes of Lindsey Graham and Mark Levin and these guys. But he dropped an F-bomb yesterday as he was speaking to reporters. He dropped the freaking F-bomb. He said that the two countries, Israel and Iran, do not know what the F they are doing. And he was very upset at the reports of the ceasefire being broken. And he actually lashed out at Israel. I don't know if this is theater. I don't know if this is real. It looked real. It looked like he was upset. Could be theater, though. Could absolutely be theater. But he's upset. He said that Israel, they dropped a ton of bombs, the likes of which he's never seen. Trump lingo. They dropped bombs like I've never seen before. He said something like that. And he said he's very upset with them. But it's getting to him. This Iran-Israel thing is getting to him. The fact that the media now is running hard with stories about how the nuclear facilities were not completely destroyed and not completely obliterated. It's getting to him. He posted on Truth Social. This is in all caps. Fake news CNN, together with the failing New York Times, have teamed up in an attempt to demean one of the most successful military strikes in history. The nuclear sites in Iran are completely destroyed. Both the Times and CNN are getting slammed by the public. Yeah. He's upset about these reports. He does not like the reports about questioning. He does not like the reports questioning the obliterated narrative that he put out there. And so they're now going to run with the narrative, with the reports, leaked reports, of course. CNN got their hands on leaked intel reports. And they're going to say, well, the nuclear facilities were not obliterated, which the general consensus is that they were not completely destroyed. That is more likely the truth, as we've said on the Duran. The truth of the matter is that damage may have occurred to the nuclear facilities, but the consensus is that they were not completely obliterated or destroyed. But they're going to use this as a way to push Trump back into attacking Iran. That's what they're going to do. Clear as day. That's what's going on here. They're going to say Iran's nuclear facilities have been set back a couple of weeks or a month or whatever, but they haven't been destroyed. You need to go back in there, and you need to go back in there harder, with more devastating weapons, or with boots on the ground. I mean, Lindsey Graham and Mark Levin, they said the other day they want regime change. They don't care about the whole nuclear weapons thing. That's pretty much what they said. Lindsey Graham said, I want regime change. We want regime change. Iran needs to either surrender and their government steps aside, or we regime change them. Because this was never about nuclear weapons for Iran. This was always about regime change, especially for the neocon Iran hawks. And to be fair, even if the nuclear facilities were obliterated, even if that is the truth, let's say that the nuclear facilities are completely destroyed, and let's say that Iran is never going to be able to get a nuclear weapon. Let's even assume that Iran comes out with a statement and they say that Trump obliterated all our nuclear facilities. They're never coming back. Russia comes out with a statement and says Iran's nuclear facilities never coming back. We inspected everything. They're done. The neocons would still figure out some new narrative to push for regime change. That's just the truth of it. The bottom line is that Trump made a terrible mistake by going into Iran. That's just the bottom line. The minute he went into Iran, the neocons knew they got him. Trump actually did say to the media when he was asked about regime change, he actually said that he does not want regime change in Iran. He actually said that.
Do you want to see regime change in Iran?
No. If there was, there was. But no, I don't want it. I'd like to see everything calm down as quickly as possible. Regime change takes chaos. And ideally, we don't want to see so much chaos. So we'll see how it does. You know, the Iranians are very good traders, very good business people. And they got a lot of oil. They should be fine. They should be able to rebuild and do a good job. They're never going to have nuclear. But other than that, they should do a great job.
So we are getting confirmation that Israel did indeed run out of weapons. It did lose the war of attrition to Iran. And we're getting a lot of confirmation that was what happened. That is why they called for a ceasefire, and it was Israel who floated out the idea of a ceasefire first, even though there are a lot of analysts wrongly who are claiming that Iran wanted the ceasefire. No, that is false. The fact is, as reported by the Wall Street Journal and as reported by a lot of other outlets, it was Israel who said that they are winding down their operations. And they were calling for a ceasefire. They were hinting at the need for a ceasefire, and the reason being they were running out of weapons. And NBC News, they reported that Israel's military said to be running low on some key weaponry. This was reported today. Israel's military is running low on some key weaponry as Trump tries to hold together a fragile ceasefire between Israel and Iran, according to 3 U.S. officials. Israel is specifically low on munitions, 2 of the officials said. The shortage comes amid tensions between Trump and Netanyahu over Trump's push for a ceasefire after 12 days of strikes between Israel and Iran. A spokesperson for the Israeli government did not respond to a request for comment. A defense official declined to comment. At the same time, acting chief of naval operations, James Kilby, testified today before the Senate that while the U.S. Navy has enough of the missiles it needs to defend Israel, the United States is using them at an alarming rate. That's a direct quote. So the U.S. is running low on missiles. Israel is pretty much all out of missiles. And that is why this ceasefire came about. That is the main reason this ceasefire came about. That and the Strait of Hormuz and Medvedev's post on nuclear weapons to Iran. I think those 3 factors, they brought about a quick ceasefire deal that Trump was on board with. We are also getting reports, flight radar reports that Israel is starting to stock up on weapons. There are flight trackers showing cargo planes going from Israel to Germany, to Cologne. And there are also flight trackers showing Israeli Boeing 747 freighter landing in Belgrade, Serbia, to pick up military equipment. What did I report on yesterday? With Serbian weapons that were full assembly kits from the Serbia military-industrial complex, according to a Russian investigation, were being sent to European countries, and then they were assembling these weapon kits, branding them as their own, and sending them to the Green Goblin. And Vucic, because of this report from Russia, he put a stop to the shipments going to Europe and then to Ukraine. He put a complete blanket stop right after this report was announced by Russia. It looks like they found a new destination for the weapons. That's how it looks, if you believe these flight radars. So it looks like Israel is restocking. That's the bottom line. They're restocking, and the conflict between Iran and Israel is not over. We're going to enter an Act 2. I don't know if it's going to be a hot war. I don't know if it's going to be a covert CIA type of regime change operation, or maybe a combination of both. But we're not done with this. The Iran hawk neocons are not going to allow this regime change opportunity to slip through their fingers. They will not allow it unless the Trump White House decides to draw a line in the sand and say no, which I don't think they will. Anyway, let's move on to Grossi and the IAEA. Get a load of this guy, IAEA Grossi. He is saying that Iran's enriched uranium can't be located following the U.S. military strikes. Okay, we've already reported on this, but it's interesting to hear Grossi actually come out and now admit it. He has no idea where the Iran uranium is located. And Grossi is demanding that Iran allow the IAEA back into their country so they can continue with inspections and try to find, locate the enriched uranium that has gone missing. That is what Grossi wants. Man, this guy. His report kicked off the conflict. It gave Israel and the United States the excuse to kick off the conflict 12 days ago. It was his report that was published on Thursday. And then Friday, we got the strikes. 2 days before, we were set to have a meeting between Witkoff and the Iranian foreign minister, and it was going to be the 7th meeting, of which both Witkoff and the Iranian foreign minister, said that they were making excellent, positive, good progress in reaching a deal. But it was Grossi's report on Thursday that gave Israel and the United States and the Iran neocon hawks the excuse they were looking for to launch the war. And this was all planned, obviously. This was all a setup. At least that's how I view it, and I think that's how Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov views it. This is an ex-post from Tony, who says, so they want to send the IAEA to do battle damage assessment for them. Nice. CIA officials are on record as saying that data provided by the IAEA is crucial for them when making assessments of Iran's nuclear program and was used to calibrate the recent attack on Fordo. Now, Grossi, this is what Lavrov said, now Grossi is speaking, demanding that Iran immediately provide the IAEA with access to nuclear facilities to make sure where the enriched material is, and in general to see what is going on there. Are there any guarantees that this will not leak? I do not see such guarantees. To find out, we bombed and tried, and we did not find anything there. You hid it somewhere. Show us where. This is the Director General of a respected agency. This is a question about what I spoke about from the podium, that the West has a serious influence on the secretariats of international organizations. And then Lavrov went on to say that the IAEA and Europe putting pressure on the IAEA along with the United States, that they share the blame for Israel's attack on Iran on that Friday after the IAEA report. Western leaders pressured the UN nuclear watchdog to publish an accusatory report on Tehran ahead of Israeli airstrikes, Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov has claimed. Yeah, in the statement that Lavrov made, he said that Grossi was told by European leaders and by U.S. leaders, or at least that's what Lavrov was implying in his statement, that he was pressured to create a report which would give the excuse to Israel and the United States to launch an attack against Iran. And now Grossi wants to go back into Iran, right? And you know that if Grossi was allowed access, of which I doubt he will get it, you would have to be crazy. Iran, you would have to be crazy to allow Grossi back into your country. But let's just assume that that they allow him back into Iran. Then you know that Grossi would find something to give the neocons, Netanyahu, the excuse that they're looking for to put more pressure on the Trump administration, if you believe that there are parts of the Trump administration that want an off-ramp to this. That's an assumption that I'm making. It may not be a correct assumption, but if you assume that, then Grossi would give the neocons and Netanyahu the excuse that they would need to put pressure on the Trump administration to go back into Iran, to go back to attacking Iran once Israel resupplies, because right now Israel is resupplying. Lavrov, always 5 steps ahead, the Russian foreign minister. Let's do some clown worlds and we can wrap up this video. How we doing on time? Yeah, we need to wrap things up. So we return to the NATO summit, and we have Zelensky wearing a kind of suit, kind of a suit. He's not wearing a tie, but he is dressed up. And you can see from the video that Zelensky knows that he's a sharp-dressed man, sharp-dressed green goblin, because everyone's talking about a sharp-dressed man. ZZ Top. I never thought I would be quoting ZZ Top in a geopolitical news update, but there you go, the great ZZ Top. Anyway, yeah, Zelensky's dressed up in anticipation of his meeting with Trump. He's not wearing what he wore. Remember what he wore to that last NATO summit, the one in Lithuania? He was wearing that green getup. No one wanted to talk to him. His wife was at that meeting as well, and everyone was talking to his wife. And his wife was dressed properly, you know, like a beautiful dress. And Zelensky was wearing that green thing, that green long sleeve thing, and everyone was ignoring him. Well, this time around, he decided to get dressed up a little bit more, a little bit better. Still not wearing a suit and tie, but he's making his way there. The transformation is getting closer and closer. And once he puts on that tie, then you know that he's a president in exile. Right? Once he puts on the tie, then you know that he's no longer Zelensky, president of Ukraine in Kiev. He has become Zelensky, president in exile of Ukraine in Miami or London or Paris or whatever. Anyway, we had the group photo for the NATO summit, and Zelensky's wife is in the front row. This is a NATO group photo, and Zelensky's wife is in the front row, pretty much next to Trump. Trump is in the front row. Who else? That looks like Macron, also in the front row. Erdogan is there as well. Yeah, she made the front row. Where is Zelensky, though? Zelensky's in the second row. He's in the back row, standing next to Ursula. He didn't even make the front row, man. His wife made the front row. He made the back row, or at least the second row, next to Ursula. Oh, man. Podolyak, why my wife go to front row and I am standing here next to Ursula von der Math? Oh boy, what else? Trump has been nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize for Iran and Israel for coming together, for putting together the ceasefire for Iran and Israel. So you start the conflict, and and then you speak with Putin, you speak with Qatar, you speak with Iran. Israel's running low on weapons. Medvedev makes you panic a bit. The Strait of Hormuz closing down makes you panic a bit. So you started the conflict and you didn't get your regime change. Things went horribly wrong, and you figure out a type of formula so you can get out of the conflict for now. For now, the hot war ends for now. And you claim credit for putting together a ceasefire, and you get nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize. It's a clown world. It is a clown world. And finally, from the Daily Mail, they have an article with the title, UK should actively prepare for war on British soil amid Russia, Iran, and North Korea threats. Ministers are warned as new national security strategy sets out China challenge. All right, so the UK now needs to prepare for war. It doesn't need to prepare for war only with Russia. Now it needs to prepare for war with Russia, Iran, North Korea, and China. Am I leaving out any countries that the UK does not need to prepare for war against? Oh boy. Anything to distract away from Stammer's terrible leadership, huh? Not one country, not Russia anymore. Now it's 4 countries. Next week they'll throw Hungary into the mix, and then the week after that they'll throw Slovakia into the mix, and then a month later they'll throw the whole continent of Africa into the mix, and the UK will just be at war with everybody. Stammer, 008, at war with everyone, protecting the UK from the threats of the world. 008, Keir Starmer. That's the video, everybody. TheDuran.locals.com. We are on Rumble, Odyssey, BitChute, Telegram, Rockfin, and X. Go to the Duran shop, pick up some merch, like what I'm wearing in this video update. There is a link in the description box down below. Take care.